All right, look, if you're moving to Katy, Texas, there are definitely some things that you need to consider before you make that commitment. So today we're gonna be going over the good, the bad, and the hideous side of living in Katy, Texas. And I like to kick things off on the lighter side of things, so let's start off with the pros first. And pro number one is gonna be all about the abundance of new construction opportunities within Katy, Texas. Now, if you want new construction here in Katy, there's absolutely no shortage of options here. I mean, you have so many different new construction communities like popping up everywhere. We have Ellison, we have Cane Island, we have Tamaron, they're all over the place. And what's really cool is it's not just in one little budget either. They offer a wide array of options for everyone in different types of stages of life. So if you're looking for first-time home buyers, they have options for you. If you're looking maybe a little bit more middle class, they have options for you as well. Maybe luxury, you can definitely find some luxury. In Cane Island, for example, they are custom luxury home builders right now, starting at $1.75 million. So if you want luxury, you can most certainly find it in a new construction community. And pro number two is gonna be all about the school districts. Now, Katy ISD, I mean, I'm pretty sure so many people cover this and talk about this, but it's definitely worth noting again because Katy ISD is in fact the #1 school district within the entire Houston region. And to put this in perspective, there are 51 total districts in Houston. That's a lot of districts. Houston, Texas is just enormous. Like, for those of you who aren't really familiar with this area, it takes you an hour and a half to get from one side of Houston to the other. So Houston is, quite frankly, an hour and a half away from Houston. So if Katy ISD is the #1 district in the entire region, that says a lot. So if you're looking specifically to be in an area where your kids can get a top-notch education, Katy ISD delivers. And pro number three is gonna be all about the shopping and dining options and experiences that are available to you here in Katy. Now in Katy, Texas, let's say more than likely like Cinco Ranch area, you're gonna have like La Santera, which is a really cool shopping center and shopping mall. Like a lot of it's like the outdoor open air lifestyle type shopping. And they have like a really cool center part of the entire complex where it's like they had a turf area at one point. Super cool area though. You could definitely find some really good options for dining, really good options for shopping. And then of course we have Katy Mills Mall. Now Katy Mills Mall is massive. They have all kinds of really unique stuff there that you won't find pretty much anywhere else in Houston. Let's say, for example, if you have children, Dig World. Dig World is a pretty awesome little place to go to with your kids. Now these kids can get on their own little excavators and backhoes and practice digging with real machinery. Pretty cool, especially if you have kids that used to watch Blippi, for example. But Katy Mills Mall is enormous as well, and there's tons of shopping and tons of dining in the entire area over there in the Katy Mills section. And pro number four is gonna be all about the economy in Katy, Texas. Now, if you want to live somewhere where the economy is essentially booming, I mean, we have housing, we have retail, we have shipping and manufacturing, and then we are not far away from the energy corridor for oil and gas here in Houston. Safe to say that wherever you decide to live, your investment is pretty much secure for the future because of how well Katy, Texas is economically positioned compared to some other counterparts in the surrounding region of Houston. And speaking of oil and gas, that brings us to pro number five, is gonna be the proximity to the energy corridor. For those of you that are gonna be working in the oil and gas industry, the energy corridor is right off of I-10 on the I-10, which is Katy Freeway basically, but it's right there off of I-10 and it's not far from Katy, Texas itself. And so if you're gonna be working in corporate oil and gas, that's pretty much where you're more than likely gonna be, unless you're working for, let's say, ExxonMobil, then you'll probably be up north in the Woodlands area. But we call the energy corridor for a reason. The majority of all oil and gas and energy companies are going to be in this section. And not only that, you are close to all of the major freeways. Essentially, we have I-10, we have 99, we have West Park Tollway, Highway 6 is around the corner. It's not far. You have 290 leading you up to Cypress. I mean, Katy is so well positioned that you're not going to have any issues getting where you need to be. The only other issues you're going to have is traffic, which we're going to get to in just a minute. All right, before we transfer over to the cons, I got to tell you, if you plan on moving to Katy, Texas, make sure you give us a call. You don't want to move to the wrong area, so if you want a smooth and stress-free move, make sure you give us a call. I'll leave all my information in the description box down below. And if you're watching this on your TV, scan that QR code, schedule a consultation with myself or a member of my team, and we will be delighted and honored to help make your transition here to Houston or Katy a smooth one. All right, con number one is going to be all about everyone's favorite, which is the traffic. Look, let me be the first to tell you, traffic here is awful. It is so bad. Now, I can't speak for like what it looks like in Los Angeles or New York or anything like that. I just know that Houston is so enormous, and it doesn't matter where you're coming from, Houston traffic sucks. If you are on a freeway, any kind of major freeway, 45, 610, 288, you're on 99, you're on I-10, it doesn't matter, 290, which 290, by the way, their freaking construction just never ending and probably will never end. But either way, if you are on any one of those highways during rush hour traffic, may God have mercy on your soul, because it is the worst thing ever. So pack your patience and plan accordingly. And con number 2, which is everybody's favorite thing to pay to the US government, is property taxes. God, I hate property taxes. Look, property taxes are an essential thing, I guess, because it does pay for public services, but some areas are worse than others. And I mean some areas, I don't mean just specifically to a suburb, I mean just the entire Houston region, for example. For those of you who aren't really familiar with Texas property tax codes, I talk about this all the time in my videos. It can be very confusing. You can have one neighborhood with a 3.8% tax rate, which is extremely high, with all of these amenities and everything else, and just a lovely community. And you can have the same exact community, move it across the street, and it could in fact be like a 2% tax rate. For unknown reasons, we don't know. It just happens to be that way. Now, there are special taxes imposed on some of these developments, like mud taxes and PID taxes and things like that, which in turn makes the tax rates higher. But that's another conversation for another day. Just know, if you are house shopping, to make sure you are paying attention to the tax rates in the specific neighborhoods, because it does have a huge impact on how much or how high or low your monthly payments will be. And this is something we can definitely help you out with whenever we are house shopping together. Give us a call. And con number 3 is gonna be all about the rapid growth that Katy, Texas has been experiencing. Now, this can or could not be a con. It just really depends on the way you look at it. Growth is a good thing, don't get me wrong. But with growth comes higher property values. So if you're buying, you're gonna have to pay more. On top of that, if you already own, higher property values means, guess what? Higher yearly or annual taxes that you have to pay for your property. And on top of that, you're gonna have a lot of areas that just seem overcrowded, especially on the weekends or holidays like Memorial Day, for example. And con number 4 on my list is going to be how far out Katy, Texas is compared to other surrounding suburbs in the Houston region. Katy, Texas is kind of far out there. We are far west compared to other parts of the suburbs, so it's gonna take you a little bit. If you need to go anywhere else, let's say Sugar Land, or you need to go to the Woodlands, or you need to get down to the Bay area of Houston, which is League City, Pearland, Friendswood, Dickinson, you know, all that's the Clear Lake area, Nassau Bay, where NASA Johnson Space Center is. You know, it's gonna take you some time to get there. It's very far. Although the great thing about Katy is you do have all of those freeways that are very close to you, so easy access in and out of the city. However, the drive time is going to suck if you have to drive away from Katy, because you are very far away from, let's say, the rest of the world. Look, no city is perfect. Every city has its pros, every city has its cons, but the great thing is only you get to decide what works best for you. So if you are unsure where to live in the Houston region, make sure you give us a call or set up a consultation with myself or a member of my team. We'll not only find you the best house, get you the best deal, the best possible price with the best possible terms, we will help match you with a suburban area that matches your current lifestyle. Well, that's gonna be all for now. I'll see you guys in the next video.